Hello, my name is Caesar Gaten, and I will be doing my presentation on Lifi. This is the agenda for the presentation. First, I will go over my references, what is Lifi, how it works, the advantages and disadvantages of Lifi, Lifi versus Wi-Fi, and I will wrap things up with the future of Lifi. These are the references I use for my presentation: Wikipedia, TechWorld, The Next Web, Light Talk, Wireless World, and Pure Lifi. What is Lifi? Lifi stands for Light Fidelity. It's a bidirectional wireless communication technology that uses invisible light for communication as opposed to radio frequency. This new technology was developed by Professor Harold Haas at the University of Edinburgh. Harold Haas is also the co-founder of a company called Pure Lifi. How does Lifi work? Lifi works very similar to Wi-Fi. Both Li-Fi and Wi-Fi use electromagnetic spectrum to send and receive information. Wi-Fi uses radio frequency, and Li-Fi uses the visible light. We know computers read and send information in binary in the form of zeros and ones. Well, zeros and ones is just a representation in hardware of something that has voltage or something that does not have voltage. Dr. Haas noticed that this can be applied to lights, as light has two states, on or off. Dr. Haas uses a photon to detect whether a light is on or off. Even though photon detectors can detect any light, Li-Fi works only with light emitted by an LED. Li-Fi uses an LED because it is a semiconductor light source that can be used to transmit data. The electricity being supplied to an LED can control the brightness. This allows the LED to be on and off so fast the human eye cannot detect it. Only with special equipment like a photon detector can the tiniest change in the light be detected. The, the photon detector then sends the information to a receiver, where that receiver changes the information to electrical signal and then the signal into binary. As I mentioned before, Dr. Haas is the co-founder of a company called Pure Lifi. The following diagram is how Pure Lifi plans on implementing their new technology to users' homes. In the following diagram, we can see that every house is going to have an LED light that will be sending information to the user's devices. One of the requirements is that the user's devices has to have a photon detector in order to receive that information, and that they also have to have an LED light that beams the light back to the LED light of the house in order to have a bidirectional communication. I will now talk about the advantage and disadvantages of Li-Fi. One of the biggest advantages of Li-Fi is its speed. So far, the best transmission speed recorded is 4 gigabytes per second, and this was done using a blue micro LED light. Researchers, however, believe if they can combine red, green, and blue LED lights, they can reach speeds up to 10 gigabytes per second. Another advantage is its security. Li-Fi makes it very difficult for people who want to steal your internet connection. If someone wants to be connected to your internet, they have to be inside your house and be directly under an LED light. Li-Fi basically gives you full control over who can use your internet connection. I will now talk about the disadvantages of Li-Fi. One of the biggest disadvantages is that Li-Fi cannot pass through walls. So if you want to be connected to the internet throughout your house has to have LED lights, and they have to be on. This also makes it very difficult if you want to be outside your house and if there's no lights. Another disadvantage is that the lights must always be on all the time. This includes than being on during the day. I will now compare Li-Fi to Wi-Fi. As I mentioned before, Li-Fi stands for light fidelity, and Wi-Fi stands for wireless fidelity. Both transmit data using the electromagnetic spectrum. Wi-Fi uses radio frequencies to send and receive information. Li-Fi uses LED to send data embedded in visible light. Li-Fi has interference problems. For example, if you live in a dense populated area and you and your neighbor are using a 2.4 gigahertz routers, then there might be occasions where your neighbor's Wi-Fi can reduce your Wi-Fi's performance and range. This can also happen vice versa. Other household electronics can also interfere with the Wi-Fi, such as microwave and Bluetooth devices. Wi-Fi, on the other hand, does not have these interference problems. When it comes to application, Wi-Fi can be used anywhere there's a hotspot, except in hospitals or airlines. Wi-Fi is used anywhere there's LED lights. This includes hospital airlines. Also, Wi-Fi can be used underwater. Here are some more comparisons between Li-Fi and Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi operates at three radio frequencies: 2.4 GHz, 4.9 GHz, and 5 GHz. Li-Fi operates at a much higher radio frequency. It operates at 10,000 times more. When it comes to privacy, Wi-Fi has more privacy issues because it can pass through walls. Li-Fi, however, reduces some of these issues because you have to be directly under the light. When it comes to distance, Li-Fi operates about 10 meters. However, Wi-Fi can operate up to 32 meters. I will now wrap things up by talking about the future of Li-Fi. Many people believe that Li-Fi does have a future because of its impressive speed. Despite the disadvantage that you have to be directly under the light in order to be connected to the internet, many people feel this isn't a problem because we live in a world where light is around us all the time. In addition, I feel that Li-Fi can become a very important piece of technology as we move closer to the Internet of Things. But we may not have to wait that long. During my research, I found an interesting article. It said that earlier this year, a hacker was going through uh, Apple's new iOS firmware and that he found a piece of code saying Li-Fi capability. I also found that Apple has a patent that's very similar to Li-Fi. In this patent, Apple owns the rights for a technology that's able to send information, send and receive information through the camera flash. So I feel if Apple can make a great design with Li-Fi and overcome the disadvantage that you have to be directly under the lights, I feel that Li-Fi may be able to replace Wi-Fi in the future. Well, that's it for my presentation, and thanks for your time.